All right, it's let me see if my mic's working. Yep, it's Monday morning, start of a new week, start of a new month, November 1st. This is Talking Stocks Live with Coach B. Let me get on this real quick. Just trying to set everything up. What do we got going here? Big Nate, happy Monday. What's up? Brian Sanders, good morning. JJ, good morning. Risky Seeds, another Monday. Good morning. What's going on? So, 6-8 Spindrifts in the house too. Good morning. What's going on? Hopefully we have another great week. Before we get into the stocks, I just wanted to kind of go over the survivor pool. It looks like we have only 9 of us left now. There was where we at right now? Yeah, only 9 left. 7 people got eliminated this week. Looks like a lot of people had the Bengals. Where was I at here? I know Dan had said on he I think, who'd you say you picked, Dan? The Bengals. It looked like a lot of people had them. But looking at the leaderboard, we got 2 people still undefeated, very disturbed, and in Spectron. I was looking good, and I got my mulligan this week with the Chargers. Patriots pulled that one off, but the surprising one was the Bengals. That was a crazy game. I didn't think the Jets stood a chance. So a couple people got eliminated this week. So like I said, still 9 of us in there. And Ego, I don't know if you're here, but I'm surprised you took the Niners this week. I was even kind of shocked with the Niners, but happy nonetheless. Who else we got in here this morning? David Cho, what's up? Good morning. Solstice. Day late, dollar short. David Cho says, you see GME had their COO leave the company. Yeah, that was kind of surprising too. I know GameStop is basically, I mean, they've been transforming the entire company. I really think, squeezing everything aside, just long term, with all the people that they've brought into that company, down the road here, maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, this is going to be a stock that, will be trading on fundamentals up at this range that it's at right now. I think GameStop closed out the week at, 183. But yeah, I did see the COO left. I believe she was from Amazon, and, the company, I think, said that they were going to kind of take over until they hire someone. They're not appointing an interim. They were just going to kind of assign her duties out, I think, is what I read. But yeah, that was kind of surprising. Kimster, good morning. Dennis D, Holiday Option, Junior Wills. Looks like we got quite a few people in here. Patrick Zane, do you know why Walmart is ending the co-marketing with CLOV in Georgia a couple months ago? What's your view of Q3 and Q4? Any insiders or institutions buying at this level? Actually, I was just looking this morning, and I did see there was some more activity. Let me pull this up on Fintel right now. So yeah, there's people buying right now. Now just anything in white is an update, not a straight buy. But like Pinnacle Wealth, this was reported on Friday, 109,000 shares. But if you look at like Commonwealth Equity, so they hold 56,000 shares right now. They increased their shares by 184%. So that's really what, basically what you're looking at there when you see these ones in white. But even if you look down here at like Simplex, Looks like they reduced their puts and increased their calls while at the same time decreasing their share count. So, but even some of these other ones I was looking at, um, 23% increase in shares, 380% increase in shares. So, yeah, I think we're definitely going to see institutional buys at this level with CLOV. I kind of feel like we're at the floor, so to speak, just down here in this level. And this is kind of like pre-earnings week, right? So earnings are going to be on Monday, Monday morning. I would assume that this week with CLOV, we're going to see kind of that first break of max pain. That's my assumption. Is max pain right now is 750, I think, for the week. I just checked it this morning before we signed on, and yeah, it's still at 750. But I would imagine, I mean, like I know I've said this in the past too, like max pain's only a thing until it's not, right? Like not every stock just trades at max pain forever. Usually there's some sort of catalyst or something that'll kind of bust it through that max pain level, and then at that point, options players come in. IV will obviously increase, but max pain will increase too, and I'll show you that with BKKT. I'll talk about that one in a second too, but so with CLOV, as we're kind of inching up towards earnings, we got five days this week to trade the stock before earnings on Monday morning in pre-market. So my assumption would be, as this week edges on, we're going to see a little bit of a bump in the stock. I mean, it could be a small one up to $8, maybe $8.25-ish, somewhere around there. But we'll start to see the stock rise as people want to get in before the earnings. That's my assumption. I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. And then with the earnings, I would, there's a couple things that we can obviously see happen. One is going to be the DC, the direct contracting. I think we're going to see, an increase there. That would be positive. That's some numbers that would, hard data that we'd be able to kind of see them present on the earnings call. In terms of the Medicare side, I don't know. We probably won't hear anything because open enrollment's going on right now, but possibly when they start getting into guidance, maybe we'll see something there happening with the new counties when they start talking about maybe how many people they've been signing up. But open enrollment just started 2 weeks ago, so I don't think we'll see anything there in terms of earnings. Also with the guidance and now being in the 3.5 star range, we'll probably hear some positive stuff there as well. And I'd love to hear more about the tech side. That's what I'm hoping for. So I think this earnings call is going to be positive. It's been positive every earnings call that I could remember. I mean, they've been slowly increasing their revenue. Still not profitable, but increasing revenue. Hopefully the DCE and the 3.5 star thing can help with that. And then also the MCR. I'd love to see an MCR reduction. But I think institutions will continue to come in and buy up CLOV at these levels. And I think we're going to start to see a little bit of a rise this week. So that's my take. That's what I'm looking for. Is it going to pop after earnings? Who knows? I mean, I know in the past, if we look at these leading up to earnings dates, we did see a rise last time from the $7-8 range, getting up to $9.25, but then on earnings it got slammed back down, and then popped the next day. So if we go back even further, before the big run up, it actually got hammered down pretty hard again on the day of earnings, and then didn't really pop. The big pop was like 2 weeks later. So it wouldn't shock me at all either, even if we had positive earnings and the stock got shorted to shit, more of the same, and it maybe touch down a little bit lower than what we've seen either. But I kind of expect us to rise up a little bit this week. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's see here. Levi, what's up? Good morning. Andy Smith. Pete. Cuckoo Birds in the house. What's going on? Scott Richards. Any eyes on Gree for the week? Yeah, Gree's one that I had on my watch list. I'm going to kind of go over all those a little bit right now. Papa Clove, what's up? Good morning. Says hanging tough in Texas. Scott says, one fear I have for Clove for this earnings report is their bump in advertising. Definitely worth it to get their name out, but may have a negative impact. Yeah, that's true too. So Patrick said talking about covered calls. So let's get into BKKT real quick, because that was the one that I was going to talk about next anyways. Because I was dead wrong on that one. I honestly thought after this pop here, I know I talked about I sold most of my calls, actually all but two. I still have those two calls. But right now I'm actually thinking about selling them and getting some higher strikes just in case this thing pops a little bit more. Looking at the option chain. So if you remember, this float size is 16 million, and max pain last week was 1750. So on Friday, I think we were opening up somewhere around here, and I had said I thought it would be more likely that they'll like kind of hammer it back down to 1750, being that IV was so high, and more than likely try to pin it there, and that's usually what you see is when you get these big sudden movements, slowly the stock will start falling down until they could pin it at max pain. Well, the one thing this stock has going for it, still only monthlies. There's no weeklies, so there's a lot of concentration. And what we saw with the call volume that came in, one thing, max pain's now $25. Okay, so what happened was, it looks like a lot of people sold these calls. This is where we had all that original volume, took profits. But we're starting to see call volume come in here. Now you look at the open interest, and at a float size the way this one is, looks like 10,000 shares was enough to get this thing moving. And we saw on Friday at the end of the day, let me just back this out. Right around the end of the day Friday, we saw a little bit of a gamma squeeze again. As soon as it popped up above like $28, it started pushing it all the way up to a high of 46. So you look here on the chain, and you could see why. Once it got to about 28, all these calls, the delta started increasing on them rapidly. That's a lot of shares when you consider a float size of only 16 million. So right now it's looking to open up around $40. I don't know that there's enough there to push it, but if we see bullish options activity come back in, you can kind of see now what I was afraid of before was these $5 gaps, and that there wouldn't be enough in there to gamma to have like a push in gamma. But it's looking like double digits is enough to move this thing $5. So we are approaching closer to November 19th. Still a ways away though, 18 days. What I'm probably going to do, like I said, I still have two calls sitting here at the $11 strike. I'm likely going to sell these today, and then, maybe grab some of these just in case it starts moving again. Some of these at the $60 strike, just basically like roll them up into this November change to see if it keeps moving. Because if we see a ton of options volume come in at this 45 and 50 strike, that's going to be enough to get this thing ripping again. So this is playing out differently than I thought. Now I'm wishing I would have held all my calls back from from at that $11 strike, I'd be sitting pretty right now. But I think BKKT is one to keep an eye on. Um, it's not looking like it's losing any steam right now, and the option chain is still set up pretty damn good for it. So yeah, but that's the other thing I wanted to point out too with like with Max Payne. Once a stock breaks above it, you start to see new put buyers coming in and new call buyers, and Max Payne will get adjusted. And so, like in regards to CLOV, we're at 750 for the week. But if we start to inch up and get to 850, we'll also probably see Max Payne inch up as people start buying puts at the money and things like that. Let's see. Slide Dev's in the house. Levi says with IV being as low as it is on CLOV, looking at calls this week, absolutely. I've kind of been looking at the same thing. Usually when IV is low, I don't know about. Oh, you're talking about calls this week? Yeah, I mean we're looking at 58%, and I think that's because most option buyers right now are probably trying to price in the earnings. But I do think that we're going to see a little bit of a bump this week. But if I was going to buy calls right now, like weeklies, for this week, I would probably go with like maybe the $7 strike at 58 cents. That means if we get pinned to 750 on the week, you lose 8 cents, $8 per contract. But if the thing takes off, you're getting yourself a little bit more firepower to make some money. In terms of, I don't see this thing like ripping above $9 this week. So if I was going to do anything out of the money, I would be more of just an options trader at that point. Like maybe, grab these 850 strikes for $7. And if we see a nice pop to 850, probably dump them, and when they start trading for 24, somewhere around there. But honestly, I think the safe play with buying weeklies this week would probably be getting in here at this $7 strike. But what I was looking at was maybe somewhere a little bit further out, like grabbing December or January calls, because the IV is low right now. Like this December chain, 55% IV. That's not bad at all. And I would expect that we would see some sort of run after earnings, even if it's a couple weeks later. And, to be able to come in here and grab like these $9 strikes for $50 isn't bad considering you're getting over a month. But really, January is more what I've been eyeballing, going out to January and maybe getting like these $10 ones for 65, somewhere in there, or even the 11 for 55. Usually I like to be at a point somewhere in a 0.2 delta range, but I don't know if I want to go all the way out to $14. So I kind of like this right in here, this $11 strike for January, or even if you wanted to give yourself more time and go February, which would also kind of get you in on like the next earnings run up for the next quarter, quarter one. Looking there again, probably looking at like a $12 strike. That's not that expensive for $63. So those are the options I've been eyeballing myself for CLOV. Claude says, "What's your thoughts on AMC for this week?" So, to be honest, so like AMC and GameStop, I really think are due a little bit, and they both started moving on Friday. I got a little excited on Friday and actually bought some AMC calls. Let me see if I can pull this up. When this thing started moving, I mean, it was so cheap. I think I got them for like $2 a piece or something crazy like that, because I bought 0 days to expiration $40 calls during this spike here. Just figured if it starts taking off, why not? They might have been $5. I don't even remember, but they were dirt cheap because it was 0 days to expiration. I bought them to expire last Friday, just in case it started moving. But AMC and GameStop, they both kind of have these flag patterns going on and look like they're ready for a breakout. I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I don't own any AMC. I'm not looking to buy any calls on it right now or anything like that. But if that was just kind of like a for fun in case it took off on Friday type deal. Um, but yeah, there's GameStop too, and I do think that um, we're gonna see some sort of pop here. I know a lot of you, if you've been watching for a while, know that. I mean, I'm still holding GameStop from God back in March now. I think is when I rebought in. So, but I do think that they're getting ready to both probably pop again here soon. And I know AMC's earnings I think is today, right? If I'm not mistaken. Um, but AMC, yeah, November 8th. Okay, so they're next Monday as well. Um, you know, I don't know. I mean, even with AMC's earnings, I know I've said it on here before. I don't expect much. I mean, the company's still, uh, at a loss. They've got so many theaters that are, just eating up cash flow, I don't know what they're going to do to become profitable. But there's more to it than the fundamentals right now. You have a ton of investors that are willing to buy the stock up and hold it, and a little bit of volume mixed with some options and stuff. I could see that thing just exploding. Shrimply, what's up? Good morning. Do you know why Orf is moving this morning? No, I don't, but I know a friend of mine said that that was one he was going to be watching. I didn't even talk about my watch list this morning. I'll go over that in a second too. Company provided a regulatory update following a Type A meeting with the FDA on air molecular. Looks like a regulatory update following a meeting with the FDA. FDA update in rare neurological disorder. So yeah, it looks like that's the news there. Scott Richards says take a look at FPAC. Let me write that one down. So real quick, I'll get in. Michael, what's up? Michael says La Clova Nostra every morning. I love it. So the stocks that I'm looking at that came up on my screener today, if I can get this thing back up, just see if anything changed. But kind of the three big ones that I think I'm going to be keeping an eye on today. BTTX is one. Stock was at $9.47 yesterday when it closed on Friday at a low of $8. And yeah, it's at 1502 right now. Hit as high as 25 in pre-market. The news behind that one was they completed their merger with, I believe it was, where'd I go? MCAD was what they were trading at before. I was trying to look up the float size on this one, and I couldn't find anything under BTTX, but I did look up MCAD this morning, which is no longer available through my Thinkorswim, but I was able to find some information on that, and the float is actually pretty small. Let's see here. I think it's 6.5 million. And then I was also looking at Ortex data on that. And let's see here. There wasn't a lot going on. MCAD. So it's not really, doesn't really look like a squeeze play or anything like that. It just looks like the merger completed. In terms of today, or this is what was reported before, it was saying that there was 456. It's not giving any short interest or shares on loan, but utilization's at 100. You may be seeing, a little bit of a jump. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I know it was a SPAC merger play. There's going to be a ton of volatility in here, it looks like so far this morning in terms of what's been traded on it so far. What do we have? BTTX, 1.3 million. And again, everything that I could find shows that the float size is about 6 million. So quite a lot there. This is one I'm going to be looking to kind of trade this morning. And then the other ones that I'm looking at right now is we got OCGN. Started moving on Friday. Opened the day around 10:38. Popped up to 12. Right now it's at 12.92. And the news on OCGN, I believe, was could get a WHO approval as soon as discussions progress. Yeah, so they're looking at WHO approval. This is like, on a COVID vaccine, I believe. And this thing's been moving. And from what I recall, and I think we were even talking about OCGN on Friday last week, maybe. But I know this one is a play that has quite a bit of short interest in it, too. And I only bring that up because, obviously it's going to move probably with news regardless. But then it turns into a pretty decent short squeeze play, too, if it starts moving, right? 30% short interest isn't bad. Utilization's high. So float size on that's 193 million. So it is going to take a little bit more to move it with the options chain. IV on it's ridiculous right now. I mean, we're looking at 376%. It looks like today they're adding in 50-cent increments on the option chain. And, open interest isn't ridiculously high for at least not out here, in terms of looking for like some continuation in the chain. But regardless, I think OCGN is going to be one to take a look at today. That has the potential to kind of fly. It's already traded 2.2 million this morning, and it did hit a high at 13.2. And then the last one that I'm going to be looking at today in terms of trading is METX, METX. This one's been ripping for a while now. If we look at the daily chart on it, it was trading as low as 28 cents. I know we talked about this last week too, just this wide range every day that offers some great opportunities to kind of jump in and out. And we saw it again on Friday, 59 cents up to 75 cents. So that's almost a 30% range right there. And this morning, looks like it's back down in the 65-cent range, closed at 61. So, I mean, this thing's been moving all over the place. I think, what is the float size on that one? Let me see. I don't remember from last week. 104 million. So not bad at all. In terms of volume this morning, already 10 million in volume traded on this stock. So, yeah, I think METX is probably the third one. So those are the three that I'm going to be looking at: BTTX, OCGN, and METX. In regards to some of the plays that I've already been on, we talked CLOV already. Anyone who's joining late, we kind of went over CLOV a little bit this morning, right when we first started. But PROG, okay, I'm really liking PROG right now. In terms of volume this morning, looks like only 621,000. The float size on PROG, been talking too many stocks. I always forget these numbers. So 70 million on PROG is the float size. Let's see here. Looking at the daily, it's just kind of been stair-stepping since all the way back on September 29th. And it made its nice little jump up to 440 the other day. Looks like it's consolidating again, and I think it's ready for another pop. I really do. I think PROG, of all the squeeze plays right now, Prog probably has the most potential in terms of short term, like what can pop now. Right now we're looking at 38% short interest. Okay, cost to borrow 99% today. We've seen this number as high as I think like 600% intraday on Friday. Utilization still through the roof, 99.86. So I really, and we're looking at 55% of the free float on loan. I'm really liking Prog as a squeeze candidate right now. I'm holding shares. I also have some options. And with the float that size, usually probably want about 10,000, calls to puts average, and we're seeing way more than that. I mean, this chain is absolutely loaded up, which makes me believe that if all of a sudden we have our next breakout, we're probably going to be looking at a run to 750. And then there's also all that short interest in there too. So this has like gamma squeeze and short squeeze potential. It's trading well above max pain. And yeah, I mean, this thing is just loaded right now. So I'm holding some, I have shares that, I think we talked about on here almost 2 weeks ago. I've been holding them kind of at like the 220, I think is my average right now. And then I also have like some $4.50 and $5 and $5.50 calls that I've just been kind of grabbing, but I've been trading more along the lines with those. When I see the big pops, I'll maybe sell some of the calls, and then buy them back in on dips. And I've just been kind of day trading the calls on this one, but holding the shares because I think this one has huge squeeze potential. Max pain on Prog right now is at, where are we at? 250. So max pain slowly been climbing, but so is the stock price, right? I mean, I think when I first entered into this position, I don't remember exactly what day, but I know it was somewhere down in this range. When I first got in, the whole reason that I liked Prog was because it was like, I think max pain at the time was $1, so it was trading over 100% higher than max pain, which kind of led me to believe that it wouldn't get pinned. And it's still popping right now. So, Prog's probably my, biggest short-term play that I'm in right now. The other one that I've been looking at and also that I think has the potential, maybe might take a little bit longer, is AGC. So AGC's float size is 41 million. It did make a nice run up to $14.50 from $10. Looks like it's consolidating right now. I think max pain on this one last Friday when we checked was $10, and it still is. So we're trading above max pain. I see this one maybe playing out a little bit more like VIH, BKKT, in that they are having a merger, I think, soon. I want to say that the CEO said he was going to do it in Q4, which is now, right? I mean, so we're looking at November or December, and I think it might be one of those ones where we either get the announcement of the merger date and this thing takes off, or maybe the merger goes through and then, within the next couple weeks, which is what happened with VIH, BKKT, it takes off. So either way, I'm slowly starting to accumulate into this AGC play. Once Prog hits, if it hits, I'm probably going to roll most of my profits. If AGC hasn't taken off, just roll most of that into AGC, because I think that's going to be the next big one. So after Prog. So I think I'm looking at, Prog happening relatively soon and AGC following shortly after is what at least what I'm looking at right now. And then if we look at Ortex on AGC, it's not bad. I think we have 40% short interest. Cost to borrow slowly been rising. Utilization's up. This is, with the catalyst right around the corner. So, and the options on that, don't look bad either. You know, it's starting to build up. I think last week this was at 110%. It's at 130 now. So IV still relatively low. I don't know if I would come in on November options though, or even December for that matter. I talked about this on Friday a little bit. I like January because, you know, if the merger does happen in quarter four, that would be either in November or December. And January still gives me a little bit of time to be a part of that. So I've been eyeballing these January options. If you wanted to be safer, maybe even out into April, you're just paying a little bit more. But, you know, it paid off with VIH. You know, I went with much further out strikes for VIH, and you know, I didn't get the squeeze that I was looking for in October, but it ended up coming in November, and so having those further out options really paid off, and that's basically what I'm looking at here. I think AGC still has a ton of potential, and you know, it just might be within the next month or so, 2 months. Maybe I'm wrong and it takes 3 months, but I know this one. I feel like this one's gonna pop next, so that's another one I'll be eyeballing. Fluffer, what's up? Good morning. Just seeing you pop in here. Is there some upcoming catalyst for Prog? I've been seeing a lot of stuff like on message boards and on Reddit and everything, and it sounds like some people are looking at maybe like a buyout, you know, potential, and then also, yeah, look, everything that I've been reading was like potential for a buyout is you know, but that's the catalyst that I was looking at. Um, they reduced a lot of their debt. That's what kind of got this thing moving a little bit more recently, and you know, that's the only thing that I've really read about it. But yeah, it's just it's. Let me see 1 second. Sorry, just getting some text messages. But yeah, I know that some other people have been talking about other upcoming catalysts for Prague, but yeah, I don't I just like the setup. I mean, the short interest, it seems like it's got momentum right now, and also the gamma squeeze potential in there as well. Risky Seeds asking about MMAT. Let me see. I haven't even checked out MMAT in a while. I know it had that pop back there. I want to say MMAT was a kind of a squeeze play from a while back, right? I remember Al Trades did a video on it not too long ago. Yeah, I don't know anything about it, Matt. I haven't been looking into it at all. I don't know if there's like something going on. Looks like earnings were back in August, so there should be earnings upcoming soon. But yeah, I don't know much about this stock at all. Paul Jones, what's up? Good morning. All Blitz, thoughts on BBIG? Let's see here. So BBIG, ATER, and even SDC. The reason why I kind of took a breather on them was just really the high IV and that it was trading below max pain, you know, and it still has that high IV. You're looking at like this week's chain, 204%. You know, there's just so much incentive for market makers to keep this price pinned. Last time I checked on BBIG, where we at? Yeah, max pain is $5. So right now it's trading a little bit above there at 540. And I think, like I said, like all those ATER, SDC, BBIG, I think that, they all have potential. They all have the fundamentals there that you would want to see in a squeeze, all the variables, the short interest, the cost to borrow, the utilization, everything. But when they're trading at below max pain, it just seems like there's too much incentive to pin the price there. And so for me, at least, what I'm looking at with all three of these, I have them up on my watch list daily. I saw BBIG's moving a little bit right now in pre-market. It closed Friday at 507. It's at 545 right now. And even ATER and SDC popped a little bit. But until I see them trading above max pain, I'm probably going to wait. I'd rather jump in on some of these other plays that might move a little bit faster now, and then grab, even if it's missing out on $1 and all of a sudden BBIG starts trading at $6, I'd jump in there, just so that I have that confirmation that it's above max pain and it's ready to move. Because we've just seen this pin, and I actually like BBIG back here when it was popping, and then what happened? It fell. I think they had this. They lose like the CEO or COO or something like that, and this thing just dropped off. And once it got back into this range down here, who knows? I mean, they could have this thing trading down here for the next month or two. So that's the only reason I'm kind of staying away from it right now. Odie says your honest opinion on BKKT. So I went over that a little bit earlier, but I really feel like, one, I feel like I was wrong. Obviously, I sold most of my position here, like 98% of it. But I thought they were gonna try to hammer this thing back down to max pain at 750, but now max pain after Friday moved up to 25. And the option chain is pretty loaded. We saw a nice little gamma squeeze at the end of the day on Friday. I think if we see more heavy call volume come in, this thing has the potential to maybe run up to $80. That being said, it could just as easily fall down to 25. What I'm going to do, but I'm in a different position than, I still have 2 calls. Let me see. Options are extremely expensive on this play right now, but I'm still holding some call contracts, just 2 of them. But, what I'm probably going to do today is dump the 2 that I have, and then roll that money into, maybe like the $60 strike, just in case it pops off. I mean, but that's just, I'm playing with 100% house money because, I had these $11 calls when the stock was at 10 and rode it all the way up to 30 and sold a good portion of them. So the 2 that I have left, I'm looking to probably roll them up to like the 60 just so I can get my hands on more call contracts in case we see this thing blow out to like the $80 range. But I thought it was dead on Friday. I really did. Man, I got over that cold and now I just have a little bit of congestion. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice or what. But yeah, I think BKKT is if the options volume continues to roll in on this play, I think basically with the float the size that it has, we're starting to see that 10,000. Anything over 10,000, it looks like is enough to push at $5. That's what we saw at the end of the day when the stock hit 28. You saw the option chain take over and push this thing to 30 to 35 to 40, all the way up to 46. So if all of a sudden today we see, some big buys, some big options flow come in at this $45 strike, that might be enough to start pulling it upwards again. And it just needs a little bit of continuation in here, but they're just so damn expensive. So I don't know. That's the other thing that happens when IV gets high. It's like you're not going to see the volume of option buying that's needed to get it that continuation through the chain. I mean, I was wrong on Friday. I thought it was done, and shit, it did. It kept rolling. So, just something I'll be keeping my eyes on. I'm gonna grab some extra calls here just because I have the those two $11 strikes still, and that being said, I'm kind of thinking that I might just be throwing that money away because I don't know if it's going to continue to run. But if it does, might get pretty interesting. If we see the call volume come back in, I could see it run right back up to 80. And then they're just going to extend the option chain again. And who knows what happens. Michael, what's up? Says, how you coming along on your thesis? I just turned in my second chapter. And I'm waiting for feedback from my professor. And then I think I have 3 more chapters. So I think it's 5 chapters in total. But yeah, it's kind of been going slow. So basically the way it works, like my first chapter took about 8 weeks. It's like you type up the whole thing, you submit it, the professor reads it, they make corrections, give you feedback, tell you what you need to write more about, what you need to eliminate, give it back. Now you work on it for another week, turn it in, and it just kind of goes back and forth. So it took about 8 weeks to get the chapter 1 done. And then my chapter 4 or my chapter 2, I think I got done a lot quicker. It was like 4 weeks. And I think I just turned in the final. Hopefully I don't get any more feedback and I'll be ready to move on. Man. Sorry for the coughing. Like I said, congestion this morning. Paul says, what's your exit point on Prog? It's really hard to say. I mean, because it has the gamma squeeze potential, and this is kind of exactly the way I played out BKKT and I ended up getting out early, but I don't mind. The chain for BKKT, if I'm not mistaken, ended around $30. And that's why I chose that as an exit point. The day was closing out, but I was also holding on to calls, and you can't sell calls in after hours. But if you're sitting on shares, you can hold it into after hours and see how high it goes. But what I'll be looking at is this. Right now, the chain ends at 750. There's more than enough firepower here to get us there. Oh, man. Sorry. There's more than enough firepower to get us to 750, I believe. So if we start seeing this run to 750, typically it'll go past that before it starts falling down. So right now I'm eyeballing 750 as an exit point. Like if it goes to 8 and starts coming back down, I'll get out around there. Because once it starts going backwards, then you see a reverse effect and it starts kind of running downwards through the option chain just as fast as it came up. Now, if Prog continues to run the way that it has been and it goes, let's see here, and it stair steps, let's say the next pop takes us to $5. Well, what's going to happen? This chain's going to get extended to $10. Okay, so now that'd be my new target. I mean, that's the way I'm kind of playing this. And then if it pops up to 7 and then starts to settle back down, the chain will probably get extended to 15, and that'll be my new target. Because right now, with a 70 million float and the amount of options pricing we're seeing in there, and I'm not even taking short interest into consideration. And when I say exit point, I'm not going to sell at 750 or at 10 or wherever the chain is. That's going to become kind of my floor, so to speak, right? Like, so I'm always going to let it run. But that's maybe where I'll start shaving off. So if it gets to 750, maybe start, sell 25%, let it keep running. And in case it goes higher, and then if it goes even higher than that, maybe sell a little bit more, sell a little bit more. But that'll be kind of be my floor. Like if it starts coming back down, I'll be out at 750. I'm not going to hold it back down below 750 at that point if that's the top of the option chain once it starts running. So that's my strategy. That's kind of what I'm going to be looking at. Cuckoo says Dr. Coach B has a nice ring to it. Yeah. I might lose the coach at that point, though, and just be Dr. B. We'll have to see. Heard the PR is 11.11, but I don't know why there's such a massive move up. Are you talking BKKT? I think. So, what happened with if you're talking BKKT still, what happened with it was a SPAC. It was VIH. They merged with BKKT. I thought, like, I had been in this play, I think, since September, maybe even before then. But I thought we were going to see this wild move, before it even became BKKT, just on the announcement of the merger. And it didn't, and it actually got pushed down a little. But usually all it takes when you have this type of short interest is some sort of catalyst. And for BKKT, it was the announcement of them working with, I think it was MasterCard or something like that. And once you got that, you saw this big spike. And that spike turned into an even bigger one because now you see shorts starting to exit. But there's obviously still short interest in this stock. And then now options become a factor too. And that's actually what drew me to this play originally, was the options chain. So, but yeah, I think it's just, being up this much in terms of BKKT, it's really starting to look like it can go either way, but I'm going to grab a little bit more just so that I could still have some skin in the game in case it keeps running. But again, I would say very risky, but I'm playing from a different angle because I already made so much on the first run up. And now it's like, if you're just looking at a play to get into, I personally believe Prog is probably a safer play, than BKKT right now. And then I say that and it might run up to 80 today. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, Scott. So that's right now the ones that I'm looking at is Prog and AGC, and the other one is actually WTRH. I don't know anything about this stock other than it's been moving like crazy lately. I saw it on the Fintel short squeeze list. It running off 80 cents up to $2. I think it went up to $2.30 recently, and 106 million float. And the squeeze numbers aren't bad. Okay. And again, max pain on this one is $1. I don't know anything about this stock though. Okay. So I don't have a position in it yet, but this is another one that I've been eyeballing because decent short interest, cost to borrow is decent, utilization's decent. And again, it's trading above max pain. And that seems to be what's been it's been working for me right now. That's why I got out of ATER, and that's why I've stayed away from SDC for this time right now, BBIG. And so just kind of rolling with this theory, it seems like it's working. So, I'm going to keep playing it that way. And it also looks like, with WTRH, we had this pop, it's consolidating. I think it, with that short interest and everything else, if volume picks back up like it was, it looks like back here we had 170 million in volume, and even in recent days 70 million, 22 million. So if we see another increase in volume here, that's a lot bigger than previous days. It was only seeing like 2 to 3 million. So that's another one I'm looking at right now. Kenneth, what's up? Noar says slept in. Michelle, good morning. OT says calls for BKKT. IV's just so damn high right now, and there's really no guarantee. I mean, if you're up on them right now, it really depends your situation, right? I'm going with November's, only because that seems to. Here's the way I see this playing out: is um, if there's gonna be another pop, it's gonna be soon. So it's probably gonna happen in November. If not, if this thing starts trading sideways, you're gonna see it get to max pain and get pinned until the IV reduces. I mean, you look at any big squeezes, even if you go back to like I can't even think of it. What was that one? MRIN. This thing popped from $1 up to $27, right? This was back in July, and then it just trades sideways, and they get it into that level, and this is one that now is trading below max pain for the longest time, and they're just going to keep doing it until they squeeze every penny they can out of that high IV. So, and I just pulled that one up because it was off the top of my head, but SDC, you know, I don't really think this one has had its squeeze yet, but it did have some increase in from this $4 run up to $7. The IV kind of went through the roof, and now it's back at max pain levels. ATER, same thing. It popped from $3 up to $19, which is a significant jump. And I just feel like you're gonna see this thing trade sideways now for a while. So with BKKT, I kind of feel like if the squeeze isn't over, you're gonna see it pop in probably in the month of November, right? Once the squeeze kind of ends and starts trading sideways, how long? Right now the options are so expensive. Do you really plan on holding them for 3 months? Because if you were to go out to like February right now, you're paying a ton of money because the IV's 190%. So you just got to kind of ask yourself, what do you think's going to happen? If you think it's going to happen short term, I would go with the shorter term options, or just go shares because IV is so damn high. I hope that answered your question. I know I was kind of rambling there. Good entry on Prog this morning. It's really hard to say. I mean, if you just look at like I'm in at 220, so it's a little bit different, but just the way this thing's been trading, it's like if we back this up, I could have said like, oh yeah, last time it consolidated and then it popped, and you'd be looking at like right here, like, well shit, this is the time. And then look what happened the next day. It dropped even lower to 220. So I mean, before it took off. So it's like, there's really no way of knowing, but it does look like it's kind of at that point again where we're at the end of the consolidation and we're ready for another one, and if you look at kind of how this thing is played out, it's always like once the RSIs dip back down, RSI got hot, it dipped down, took off, dipped down below 70, took off, and now it's just got below there. It's at like 63. I think it's ready to for another breakout, whether it be today or tomorrow or something like that. So, in terms of like what a good entry point is, I mean, for me, it's like if you believe it's gonna go up, is there a difference if you get in at 360 or 350? I mean, obviously there is. It's 10 cents, but if this thing ends up running up to 750 or something like that, I don't know. I mean, I think the way that I would do it is instead of maybe going all in, let's just say your intention is to buy 1,000 shares. Maybe you buy 500 now, and then if it takes a little bit of a dip, you can average down, because if you truly believe in the play, or if it starts to rise up and you feel like you might be missing the boat, maybe you end up averaging up. but it'll still give you a chance to kind of average down instead of just throwing everything in all at once. So yeah, I mean the way this thing's been trading though, it seems like you definitely have. Here, I'll just go to like a 10-day view. There we go. This is 15 minutes. Damn it! What the hell did I do? Every day you kind of have like these little dips, and then it pops up, and then a dip, and then over here it dipped in the morning, and then it popped up, and it comes back down. I mean, it's been great for day trading too. But there's always been like decent buy opportunities. It's just too hard to say. I mean, for me to throw like a price out, like, oh, don't buy at 360 because it's probably gonna touch 340 today. Like, who knows? This shit might end up taking off and be at 450 before you know it. So, Dan says, hope you didn't have the COVID. No, I just got a nasty cold, man. It was last week. We had flag football on Sunday for my kids, and I coached both teams, the 7 and 8 team and the 9-10 team. And I know you're not in the Bay Area, but in Northern California, it was like the worst day of rain probably in the last 10 years or something. And they still had the damn game going on. So it was just like pouring rain. I left there soaking wet, and then went to Levi Stadium, changed my clothes, dried off, went to Levi Stadium for that Niners Colts game. Left there soaking wet, and then I had a cold on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Started feeling a little bit better on Thursday. Actually pretty good on Thursday, but now I just got like this congestion. But no, I got tested twice, just to make sure, before I went back to work. And then we had our high school football game on Friday night, even though I missed most of the practice all week because I was sick. I just wanted to make sure that to be safe before going back around the team and everybody else. So, but yeah, I'm feeling great now. It's just, now it's kind of just this congestion in my chest. You think last week's EV push will continue? You know what? I know Lucid was moving again this morning, I believe, right? And so is Tesla. I mean, you look at where we at. So Lucid closed at $36.99, so $37, and it's trading at almost $39 right now. Tesla was ripping this morning, hit all the way up. It closed at 11.14, and it hit 11.58 this morning. So yeah, I mean, it seems like it's continuing to move. Hold on 1 second, sorry. So I just realized I have my volume off on my computer. Let's see. So yeah, I mean the EVs are kind of moving today. So I don't know. I haven't been following much, to be honest. I've been so busy like with work and school and coaching and everything else that I haven't really been able to keep up on the broader markets as much as I'd love to. I just kind of see what's moving and try to hop in. What's up, Turks? Yeah, I hope everyone had a good Halloween. We had fun last night with the kids, trick or treating and everything. Let's see. Patrick Zane says BKKT above 50, kind of expensive already. Yeah, that's kind of where my stance right now too. Like, and that's why I kind of said it was done last week. It's just like if you're jumping in now, it's just for the squeeze potential, and I just think it's really risky because there's already been so much movement, so just be careful with that one. Thomas O'Connell, good morning. Oh yeah, Gree. There we go. Someone asked about Gree earlier too, and I never went back to it. Thanks, Turks, for reminding me. So Gree had kind of a phenomenal day on what it ran from 20 up to a high of 28 intraday, and then popped up to 30. This is I think kind of moving a little bit with with crypto. And if we come over here and look at the cost of borrow has been rising a little bit. Not a ton of reported short interest in this stock, but I think it is going to rip with crypto, and even, at 7% short, that's like, a decent amount of shares. But I know that there was also a little bit of discrepancy in what the actual short interest was on there, and even like the float size from what I remember. I never bought any GREE or SPRT, so I just remember listening on like Twitter Spaces and hearing Turts and some other guys talk about it, and so but I know this thing moves with crypto, so it started flying on Friday. And it does look, just looking at the chart, went up and hit six. Or no, this is kind of taking it back to when it was SPRT, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was a nice increase. Turt's asking about MedX. Yeah, that's one of the, so my three, for anyone who joined a little late, the three that I'm watching today, and we'll just check in on them right now too, because I have them over on my other screen. But MedX is one, BTTX was the other, and the last one of the three was going to be OCGN. Those are the three that I'm going to be looking at today, in terms of, day trading potential. I know there's probably a ton of other ones too, but it's too hard to stay up on too many tickers, during the day. So those are the three I'll be looking at. OT, yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate it. Looks like we got some. Do I need to add some mods in here? Let me see. I don't even know who's a mod and who's not anymore. But I'll get some mods. I just want to, let me, oh, it looks like someone did get rid of that one. Cool, right on. Thank you, Michael. If anyone's on right now, because usually I don't have this screen open, but if anyone is interested in modding, let me know, and I'll give you the permissions right now. Faith, good morning. Happy Monday. Michael says DraftKings. Yeah, you know what? I had this list that I made of all the stocks to talk about, and that was there's two left that I haven't got to yet, and DraftKings is one of them. So I did enter back into DraftKings, and unfortunately it's been going back down since then. It was 2 Fridays ago, so I think it was, where we at? If last Friday was the 29th, I got back in on the 22nd, so somewhere around here. And it did jump up a little bit, but it's right back down again. So what I did on DraftKings was, where we at? IV is low enough to where, but I went out to the February strike 65s. So right here for $1.11. And then I also grabbed some December 55s. I think I paid $1.20 for these. I actually might grab some more. Because I do think you're right, Michael. I think it's ready to pop. I know they have earnings coming up right around the corner too. Um, and this is kind of like my whole thesis originally when entering into this play was you're going to see a little bit of some movement with the November earnings, kind of like you did last time here, moving into it and then after it, because you're starting to see some of the money from football season, right? Or at least in their guidance, they'll be able to talk about what they're seeing already from football, and then you'll see a kind of a bigger run up moving into February, which is where their next earnings is going to be right here at the end of February, and so I wanted to be a part of that move, and that's why I was trying to price in. Those February options. I think at this point too, even April wouldn't be a bad play if you really wanted to be like really price in all of February. But with sports gambling in general, um, you know, football season is the biggest time of the year. Casino sports books, online sports books, no matter what it's NFL and college football are the most bet on sports in the United States. So that's going to be huge for DraftKings. Also, their bread and butter is their daily fantasy, which the biggest one is, again, football. And so that's why kind of wanted to make this a play that had to do with football season. And, it wouldn't shock me to see them, with all the expansion in the United States, with sports gambling and everything. And DraftKings has been a big part of that, to see them surpass last year's highs of 75. So I really like this price point, this entry point down here. And it wouldn't shock me to see this thing hit 80 to 100. So that's what I'm looking at. And I'm glad you brought that up, Michael, because I might even grab some more today. Let's see here. Present Minds, good morning. Josh Stewart, good morning. Big Nate, I'm glad to see your kids are doing okay. It's actually my kids have been, I feel like once COVID started, like, was it almost been 2 years now, year and a half, when it first started coming around. I don't think my household was sick at all, but it might just be because, we were taking vitamins and making sure extra hard the kids washed their hands. They also weren't going to school and being around a bunch of other kids. But recently, like this school year, I think my youngest has been sick twice and the oldest once. And so, but neither one's actually, we got them tested both times or every time. And no one's tested positive yet. Let's see here. Dan, I just added you as a moderator. Don't feel like you're obligated to do anything, but if you ever see something, you now have the ability to mute people or or give them the boot. Let's see. All right, so we're at 620 right now. Kind of getting closer to market open, and I'm probably gonna sign off like right around 6:30 again, like usual. I just really been trying to help out with the kids in the morning, getting them ready and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I switched to this pre-market show. I know there's been a lot less people. Sometimes a lot of you are just catching the end, but I still appreciate everybody dropping by. But just looking around right now, and then I'll kind of recap what we talked about too. It looks like SDC kind of is coming back down to where it started at. That did pop a little bit this morning, not much. ATER still trading a little bit higher at 655. BBIG had a nice little rip a little while ago around 530, back down to $5.30. And even AMC was starting to move this morning, and looks like it's back down to where it closed the day at. That's one that I've been watching. It saw a little bit of volume this morning. Super early, came up and hit 36.47. And now it's trading right back down. But that's one that I'll be watching throughout the day. All these stocks that I've been mentioning, I always try to keep my eye on, just because any of them could start moving at any moment, GameStop included. But Prog, I think is a great opportunity right now for a squeeze play. In the short term, I think it's ready to move now. AGC is one I'm eyeballing for, probably within the next couple months. And then, hey, it's earnings week or pre-earnings week. It's the week before, so I really do think that we're gonna see CLOV creep up this week. I do. It's who knows, maybe $8, $8.15, just anything above max pain to kind of break through that level this week, I think would be amazing. And then earnings are going to be in pre-market on Monday, so should be pretty exciting. Let's see here. So that's CLOV. We got Prog, AGC. And let's see. Josh Stewart says, what do you think about SHIB? You know what? I'm not really the guy to talk to about crypto. I did buy some SHIB last week, only because I was starting to get FOMO on it. I've never really been, I've always had Bitcoin, and that's about it. And I still have Bitcoin, but I don't keep up enough with all that stuff to really know what's going on. But I was starting to get a little bit of FOMO, and I remember what happened with Dogecoin, and I wasn't part of it. So, a lot of people that like Ghost is one of them. Oh, you know what? I'm glad I never even mentioned that today too. So, but like Ghost has SHIB, and a lot of other people have SHIB, and I'm seeing it run, and I'm like, man, if this thing does a Dodge or a Doge type move, I wanna own some this time. So I did buy some last week. Unfortunately, I bought in at I think about 0.00008 or whatever it is, and now it's down to 7. But I think it'll pop back. But speaking of, I did a terrible job today of promoting tonight's NFL show. So this is the first time. I was texting Ghost a while ago to see, because normally he comes on Mondays, to talk about the show and everything. And I guess we're gonna do that a different day, the promotion thing. So anyways, tonight NFL every Monday night, no financial limits. It's myself and Ghost, 4:00 on the West Coast, 7:00 on the East Coast. Okay, we normally start the show off talking about the market, so we'll probably be talking about some of these squeeze plays, like Prog, like AGC. Anything else that starts moving today, some of our other stocks that we're getting into, definitely a little bit of crypto. I've been invested in SafeMoon for a while now too, and that thing started ripping last week a little bit, and so we'll start talk about a lot of that stuff, and then second half of the show we talk football, kind of give our picks for the upcoming week, even though my picks have been sucking lately, but I think Ghost went 6-1 last week, so I'm sure he'll be talking a lot of shit. And we got his Steelers won too, so it should be a fun show. So definitely come check us out tonight. Should be pretty fun. And looks like Thomas says Prog and CLOV earnings on same day. Yeah. And AMC, I just found out today. So November 8th is going to be, I think, pretty exciting in the markets in general. Big Nate I'm gonna write that one down. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Saitama Inu. But yeah, I might check some of that out too. I don't. Again, it's funny because we were talking about this the other day, like all these crazy crypto tokens and stuff that are going for like fractions upon fractions of a penny. I really feel like if you just throw, you know, $50 in every one or $100 in every one or whatever it is, and you're getting in on the early stages, who knows? You could be that next person that, becomes a millionaire off of, it's almost like just buying FDs on the option chain or something. Josh says Chiefs need to play a lot better. Hell yeah. But that's, you know what? Not to just get totally into football now and stuff, but I kind of had a feeling that they weren't gonna play good this year. I picked the Chargers to win the AFC West on the first NFL show me and Ghost did, AFC West. But I also made some other terrible picks too, so I can't act like I'm a super expert. Wall Street Bets put out a coin this morning, huh? Let's see here. Noir says Lucid's popping again. I know we pulled that up a little while. Oh, yes, it is. Wow. Doesn't look like there's any news behind it. It's just kind of part of this EV run that's been going on. Michael says Ghost went 6-1. Yeah, I know he kicked ass. I was yesterday was fun because it was my first day, first Sunday with like nothing, no kids flag football. We weren't going to a Niner game, nothing like that, where I actually got to like sit at home and watch all the morning games and, Red Zone channel and all that kind of stuff. And so, I got to watch quite a few games yesterday. It was a lot of fun, and also watch all my picks disintegrate as the day progressed on. And so early on, I saw Ghost kind of tweeting about how good he was doing. But then, Halloween started picking up, and then we ended up taking off to go trick or treating and go visit some family and everything else. And I stopped paying attention. I was just checking scores a little bit later. AABB to your list of crypto. Okay. I'll write that one down too. ABVC, Profit Taker says. Is that another one? You guys are going to have me buying all kinds of crazy tokens. And Turd says Hut just hit all-time highs. There we go with the crypto plays. Is any moving as well? Huh. Dan saying that's a stock. Yeah, you talking about Hut. Yeah, Hut is a stock, but they're like a crypto miner, I believe. And so like when crypto starts taking off, you'll see Hut, Gree, a lot of these other ones start moving with it. All right, so that was the opening bell. Almost scared the shit out of me. Let me see. I'm just looking around right now, seeing if anything's really like moving out of the blue. So let me pull up BKKT real quick. It's like I said, I think this is one that could break either way. And with Max Payne getting moved to 25 and it being only a 16 million float, I don't think it would take much to push this thing down and start seeing a reverse gamma effect either. So just going to keep my eye on this, but I am going to try to grab a little bit of call options today on this, just in case I'm wrong and it keeps taking off, because I was wrong on Friday and I wish I would have had some more call options then. But it's pretty damn expensive right now. It's like CLOV's getting pushed down a little bit this morning. As well as PROG. Thomas says, Coach's opening bell is like a World War II siren. Yeah, that thing was loud. All right, so I'm gonna get going now and go check out the kids. Thank you everybody for joining today. I appreciate it. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully I won't be canceling any shows this week. I know last week I canceled 2 of them, I think, because I was so damn sick. But try not to be doing that as much. Feeling a lot better. Thank you everybody again. Have good luck trading today. Again, the ones I'm going to be watching for day trading this afternoon is BTTX, OCGN, and MEDX again. All right. I'll see you guys later.